Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces. A lot of hot spots out there now. And locally, we had 3 folks that left us since last meeting. Andy, didn't last long after Polky. Ellie Stropel, great lady, and Patrick Donovan. Thank you. I want to welcome our new member of the board, Mia Carroll. Welcome. Have fun. It's tough. Great. Elise, our village attorney, is the parliamentarian. And is there up to 3 minutes any public comment on agenda items? You go first.
Oh, okay, yes, Barbara Anderson, on your part. Actually, my comments are on things that are not on the agenda, and I feel that I'd like to understand if you're going to discuss them later on. But one is like, are we going to have a follow-up session scheduled for public hearing on the comprehensive plan? It was scheduled.
Oh, absolutely.
It was
Yeah.
scheduled in
Yeah.
February,
Yeah.
so I think we need to write that.
I'm going to say that later.
Okay, that, and also if you're going to discuss the grant and follow-up.
Very, very briefly,
Oh,
because there's not much
Well,
to talk about.
there isn't much to talk about?
No, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. If Mike.
Michael Joyce, a resident of the village of Highland Falls. First, I would like to commend the entire board for achieving this grant of $4.5 million and for using taxpayer money, I believe, to the extent of 30 grand in hiring this company that did the research, did the documentation,
Mike,
submitted it.
I'm going to let you go, but no, that's not an agenda item. But
Well,
you can finish.
Well, I normally go up here and I kind of give you a tongue wagging.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying, now I'm giving you a compliment. Well,
It took me getting $4,500,000. I'll take it.
well, not just you, the
Yeah.
whole,
Well,
the whole board, the whole
The whole,
board,
yeah, the whole
And-
board helped.
and
Yeah.
$30,000 of taxpayer money.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
anyway,
You're-
and the meeting that was this past Saturday, gets talked about it again, the financing, for the police. I got some questions on that, but I'll keep that for another time. But again, thank you so much for using taxpayer money wisely, and I thank all the board.
The whole board.
Thank you so much.
Norman DeYoung, Belvedere. Just want to commend all you guys for hiring one of the best guys. They
Yeah.
put on this board here. Peter Carroll, I've known him many years. He is a great guy. He doesn't dance for anybody. He has his own mind. I think it's the best thing for the village. Believe me, this guy loves where he lives. So I gotta commend him.
Anyone else on agenda?
The Spectrum Charter Communications, I'm not sure what you're public hearing about. 23 is obsolete. I actually helped Joe DeWitt, because I have Channel 23, setting up the live stream on YouTube. Very easy, a link right on the website for people to, instead of tuning into Channel 3, just click on it, it takes them to watch it live streamed on YouTube. So I think you need to take that into consideration.
Anything else?
Yes, Pablo Pulido, resident of Highland Falls. Over here says that we want to approve contract for the Supervisor Association. We'd like to know who negotiated that, the contract, or each of you got a,
No, Tim Green, it's Tim Green's contract. He's the only one in that essay right now.
he's not a supervisor.
Oh, he is.
Of whom?
The mechanics.
He's only
You
one
know that.
mechanic.
Anything else, Paul? I don't know what I'm telling you, what, you know that, you know.
I know that, I didn't want to say something, because he's supposed to be the senior mechanic. To be a senior mechanic, you have to have a junior mechanic. He don't have nobody under him.
Okay.
And, now, one more thing. Is he going to get a medical insurance after he retires?
Looks like he is,
Yes.
yes.
So what's the difference between him that only been here for, what, 6 years? And myself that been here for 30, and I'm not getting that.
That's the contract that was negotiated. I don't know where in fact, your last day was the 29th.
Yes.
So right now you're retired, which is great for you, you know, retired.
Yeah, but,
is great. But I don't know what that contract that you were a part of is not been finalized.
No, I know. So if this employee is going to get it, that means that
Well,
we go
that's
over
up
to
to,
the.
that's up to the Department of Public Works Employees Association.
I thought that
You
you and
know
me,
that.
I thought that you and me had the talk, and you agreed that you were going to change that part of the contract, so.
You and I had to talk about that?
Mhm. Yeah. Remember when you went to the garage and all the guys were there, and all the guys denied it that,
Well, I don't know exactly what you're speaking of. I can only tell you that that contract, while negotiated, has not been approved. There's an MOA. I signed the MOA.
mhm.
I'm waiting for the Teamsters to sign the MOA, and they haven't done it yet.
We already voted on it, and it was
Well, you can't
unanimous.
say we anymore because,
The vote was before the 29th.
okay, well, I didn't get it back signed yet, so I'm surprised.
Pablo, I remember the board actually having a discussion about that. And we agreed that, you know, if you put 30 years in service, you should get it. But I don't know what happened to them.
I mean, all you guys are going to get the insurance, the medical insurance. You personally, you're going to get insurance too,
I
right?
hope so.
Huh?
I hope so.
Well,
Worked hard for it.
that wasn't my hope after 30 years of service.
Pablo, I don't know, you gotta take your issue up with the Teamsters.
You are the one that had the power to change it.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
That wasn't
he has
negotiated.
a point, he has a point. Thank you for your 30 years in service. Let me talk about that, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Can I just ask, with the Spectrum agreement, is a solution for the Channel 23 in this agreement or not?
Is what?
Is there a solution for Channel 23?
I talked to Joe DeWitt about it. It's terrible. I actually now am so curious. I go on there just to see is it working or not. I would say 60, maybe 65% of the time it's not working. It's a town. I spoke to Spectrum Cable. I think they're called, what are they called? Cable now? Charter Cable. And they informed me that it's a town issue, that whatever is not working in the contract with the town, they're supposed to fix whatever it is that's not working. And that's where it is. It's not the town or me or anyone calling up saying, hey, Channel 23 doesn't work. It's a town, and Joe knew, I spoke to Joe in this room, he knew that.
He said that you would be able to get the Channel 23 live feed up and working along with the
Okay.
live feed to YouTube.
Okay.
So I was just curious
That's
if
good.
we were on the same path.
Oh, yeah,
For
Joe
this
and I
moment.
are.
So,
Okay, I don't know if your question got answered. Joe told you it's getting fixed.
He was going to test it today, but he was missing a piece of equipment. But he was going to test it in the town side. But the idea is that the camera, like Sean has, the camera and a laptop computer could actually have some kind of device that you can just attach to a laptop and live feed this entire meeting through YouTube. And you can click on the Highland Falls website from home, and while we're having the meeting, click on that link, and they can watch it as if it's on cable TV, as if it's on Channel 23. He'll know by the end of the week if it's possible, and if he can make it work from the town side, I think it's a cheaper way to get this done and more efficient.
So, my notes I was going to say later, but it's okay, it's on the agenda. Live stream, Councilman DeWitt and myself met twice actually, here in this room, actually. And he was going to set up the town live stream with equipment that had to be purchased probably. And once he bought that equipment, and once it's installed and working, then he was gonna come here, and I saw Sean, before the meeting started, he's gonna meet Sean, our cameraman, and tell us what we have to do. Exact same thing, or maybe we have something now that we don't, that, you know, I don't know. I'm not into that, the technology. But soon, once it's working down the town, then we're gonna have it, with Joe's help. He's gonna tell us what to buy. Sean, I'll let you know when we can meet. Anyone else? Yes.
Now, the Channel 23, I mean, they're talking about the live stream with YouTube, but the Channel 23 will still have that too, because there's a lot of elders that aren't online, and they rely on the
Yeah,
Channel
I know,
23.
I know. Yeah, I know.
So will they still have the Channel 23 as well?
I don't know the answer.
So from the meeting on last week, the answer is yes. He's working to keep both, to get YouTube and to keep Channel 23.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure, I think that's true for the town, but I'm not sure it's true for the village, because it would cost the village something like $500 to $1,000 a month for that. So I think the village was really looking at live streaming through Facebook or YouTube, which would not cost. Apparently, it's very expensive, and the reason the town has been having so much trouble is because they didn't have the right equipment, so they had to go purchase more equipment.
It's been like that for a while.
But
So is the town gonna keep 23 in live stream? or
as
is
far
it-
as I know, we were just discussing the contract for the village, not the town.
I'll find out when I meet with Joe.
But
Jim,
when we
thank
have the
you.
meetings here in the senior center, is it on Channel 23? It's not,
No.
right?
No.
Right, yeah, that's the issue though, right?
Well, that was my question, whether it was in the contract, because if you're saying that there's a charge for the Channel 23 access, is that in the contract or is it not? Because if we're paying for it and we're not utilizing it,
It's
or,
not in the village contract, because it's, I have to get my notes out, but, I think $500 to $1,000 a month to do that, plus any equipment. So that was not put in the contract, rather live streaming through Facebook or YouTube. If the board wants that, then you would have to appropriate the monies and it can be, I mean, Spectrum doesn't really care, Charter doesn't care, it's just gonna cost the village significantly.
You're keeping your villagers informed, that's money well spent.
You know, it's
Agreed.
$6,000 a year.
You're informing your constituents through two means, either Facebook, online, or analog through TV. That is money well spent, so I urge the board to go ahead and consider that.
And just so everybody knows, I spoke with Trustee Guerrero, and there are some issues in this contract, as I read it over, and we are going to discuss that. What we're looking at tonight, though, is to set a public hearing for it. So we welcome more questions, please, about this during that public hearing. But I don't think we're going to go with this contract, or at least it's going to be redlined on some things, and see what we can change it.
is that available for the public?
That-
It's on the website. Okay.
All right, we'll move on. The kids aren't coming?
I do have Georgie to represent. Their schedules are crazy, so they couldn't get here tonight, but Georgie could present and Nikki could present.
I'd like to have paid bills and claims for fiscal year 2023, 2024. In the amount of $288,616.91.
So moved to pay bills and claims.
Do I have a second? Second by Peter. May I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll? Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor John?
Yes. Thank you so much. Could we approve the minutes that were written, they were in your box, of our regular meeting that we had on the 5th of February, 2024?
Motion.
Do I?
Second?
Are you with me?
I am, sorry.
You got the second?
I did.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried.
One abstention.
I'm sorry, that's right. So it's 4 and 1 abstention. Thank you. Okay, we need to approve what we've just been talking about, to set a public hearing on the franchise agreement between the Village of Highland Falls and Spectrum. I'd like to have the public hearing at our next village board meeting, which is on March the 18th, 2024, at 7 p.m., located at the Senior Center. I have a motion.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
I have a quick question for the village attorney so that the public would know, okay? I did look at it, it's 8 pages of legal language, it's like an 8-font characters, really small. So the bottom line that we're looking at this is that it's gonna hold us to a 10-year contract with Charter if we signed it, is that?
That's true, their typical term is 15 to 20 years, so I was able to negotiate down to 10. If the board wishes to try and negotiate a lesser term, I can certainly put that out to them. I would just say that most franchise businesses like this, it's like cell towers. They don't want to commit to any kind of support unless it's for a length of time where they can get a return on their investment.
So it's gonna prohibit other companies from coming in that 10-year period.
No, it's not exclusive.
It's non-exclusive, that's right. So it's just a 10-year contract with them, but if other companies wanted to come in, they can.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And the cost to the village is whatever the monthly fees is.
The village gets money back. The village doesn't actually pay. The village gets
5%.
money back, 5% of their franchise fees. It's a calculation based on what is considered gross revenue.
I see, okay. And this, we're making a decision not just for the village buildings, but for the residents. Is that what it
That
is?
is correct.
So for the residents, meaning they have the 10-year contract with Charter Communications.
They don't have to sign up with Charter Communications. It's not exclusive, it's just an option.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So that passed, our public hearing will be on the 18th. Next, we have looking for approval for the mayor to sign the Department of Public Works Supervisors Contract, DPW SA Supervisors Association. We've had it now for more than a week. May I have a motion if there's...
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion? I'd like a discussion on this. I think Pablo, this is a contract that Pablo is asking about. It's the Department of Public Works Supervisor Association, and it's a contract between the village and really one person, right? Not John Jones, that's a different contract. So really this is for one particular employee, and you mentioned him, it's Tim Green. Tim Green is our mechanic, okay? We don't have any other mechanics, but somehow, for somewhat, he's a supervisor, but he's not a supervisor to anyone. And I think that's what Pablo was questioning. Why is he considered a supervisor contract when he's not supervising anyone? And I have the same question, okay? And the other question that Pablo had, which I also, when I looked at this contract, was about retirement. So I do want to say that Pablo Pulido has been a village employee for 30 years. 30 years. He just retired on the 29th of February, just 4 days ago.
Congratulations. Well deserved, well deserved.
Yes. Pablo, I'll tell you a little bit about him as part of this discussion. He immigrated from Peru in 1981. You know, he had challenges with language, with education, but he came here and he overcame many of those challenges. So he held various positions in the village. He's been here since 1990. Right, different positions, right? In the highway department, in the sewer department, in the water department. And he has the honor of having passed the water operator license on his first try, when 30% of the people who take that test flunk the first time. And by doing that, he actually helped the village because, we didn't have to pay fines for not having 2 licenses. When he got his license, we didn't have to pay thousands of dollars in fines for not having 2 licenses. I think he's a very honest and hardworking guy, and he's dedicated 3 decades of his life to the village of Highland Falls. His question is, when he retired, he was fighting the board about getting a benefit after retirement. He wants healthcare benefits for himself and his family as a reward for having given 30 years of his life to the village. Now on this contract for a supervisor, that was given to him, to Tim Green, but not given to Pablo. And I think, to me, that's a little bit of a problem. Why do it for a favored employee, but not to unfavored employee? So I have a problem with this contract, which is why I'm voting no.
I want to wrap it up. Here's the thing. What's before this board is the contract before you. As far as any other contract that's been negotiated over 2 years, I never sat in on one of the meetings. We have a labor attorney out of Albany, back and forth. The union, the local union, the Teamsters, the local union was always in the room, at least 2 of them, along with their attorney, discussing with our labor attorney and negotiating a contract with the Teamsters. Where that is, I don't have it on my desk. There was an MOA that I signed, and I don't have it back signed from them. So any health issues or any other issues that are in there that someone doesn't want, maybe they'll entertain someone that's not in the union now. That's between that person, meaning Pablo, that's between you, Pablo, and the union. Has nothing to do with us. Nothing.
Yes, it
Okay,
does.
no, that's it. That's how I'm leaving it, because that's the truth. I'm not gonna bat this around all night, because that's the truth.
You're
It's been
lawyer.
negotiated. I think there was for sure, now I remember, there was a trustee that is no longer sitting up here, was in most of the meetings, almost all the meetings, and what was negotiated was negotiated. That's it. You want to change it? You got to. I don't know who to tell you to talk to. You know those folks better than I do.
Well, your lawyers
Okay,
say Goldberger, say that you
Before
have the
I have a
power.
motion on the.
You have the
Okay,
power
go
to
ahead.
change.
So,
Right.
a couple quick things, because it's nice to be in a position to sit up here and regale the public with stories of wonderful things. That's nice. But currently, in the contract that I believe Mr. Polito will benefit from, he does have health care for him and his family until 65.
Me and my
After,
wife.
excuse me, after 65, you still have the insurance, it's just not your primary. You have to go out and get a primary, and it becomes your secondary. So that's the fact, okay, that's number one. Number two, the title, senior automotive mechanic, does not come from a jar of little piece of papers that we write down titles and we pick out and we say, well, this person's gonna be, whatever. That title comes from civil service, from Orange County. And that is the title that's in this DPWSA. It's the Village of Highland Falls Department of Public Works Supervisor Association. That is the second fact.
You don't even have a CDL.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. So I have a motion to approve the contract, and do I have a second?
Yes, you
Have a
have.
second.
We already voted.
So
No,
who
there was
was the supervisor?
Okay, all in favor?
See, answer
Opposed?
question.
Sorry, yes, sir.
Motion carried. Okay.
See, that's how they do things.
Yeah.
Who approved him as a supervisor?
It's the title we hired him in.
It's a title that you guys
Every-
pick.
Everyone who works for the
So
village has a,
he's worked for the town for how long?
I heard 30 years.
6 years.
So is-
Which one you talking about?
Tim.
Oh, 10,
5 years, 6 years?
I think, maybe
Uh-huh.
6.
And he's going to get it for life.
Current.
I know.
This contract's not forever.
You're going to get it forever.
We took a vote, have it?
Oh, I-
No, I don't know.
I did.
We just had our vote.
All in favor?
yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Well, trustee Guerra did not vote.
Well, isn't it, if you
No, I
don't vote, it's already
Oh,
in the
voted
affirmative?
no?
I voted no.
Okay.
Roll call. Let's do a roll call. I know it's gonna end up being a roll call.
Trustee Guerrero,
No.
trustee Ramos.
Yay.
Trustee Carroll. Trustee DeSalvo.
Yes.
Mayor Denine.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, next on the agenda is to accept the letter, notification that I'm resigning from the position of dispatcher for the Village of Highland Falls Police Department. My last day will be Wednesday, the 14th of February, 2024. Thank you for the opportunity to provide me during my time with the department. Carrie Ann Penn. May we accept her resignation, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second with regret.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And next we have a budget amendment with the fire department. Pertains to an air compressor. A check totaling $3,600 has been received from travelers, whereas $3,600 of this revenue has been designated to cover repairs to the fire department air compressor. There was a contractor down there that there was some damage, and they were doing an annual inspection on this compressor. That's what this is about. So the insurance company is taking care of it. Now therefore, be resolved, due to unanticipated revenue from travelers, the Board of Trustees approved an amendment to increase the appropriation budget of A3140.0400 Fire Department contractual for $3,600 and the revenue code A2680 insurance recovery for $3,600 for fiscal year 2023. May I have a motion and may I have roll call?
Motion.
Second.
May I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero,
Yes.
trustee Ramos,
Yay.
trustee Carroll,
Yes.
trustee DeSalvo.
Yes.
Mayor Denine.
Yes, thank you, motion carries. Okay, this comes from the Chief of Police, recommendation for the village board to hire Anastasis Krieger to the position of full-time dispatcher, part-time dispatcher, at a rate of $17 per hour. She has successfully completed background investigation and possesses dispatching experience. We should approve this.
So moved.
Is there a second? Peter? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed? American Water, you'll see their office out here. They take care of the water at West Point. To hold their River Keeper sweep on May 1, from 8 in the morning till noon. They will be cleaning the debris and pollution from Highland Brook. The rain date is a week later, May 8th. They have an application here and they have insurance. So they're ready to go. Motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, motion carried. Next, we have another event. Easter egg hunt. Town of Highlands Recreation to hold an Easter egg hunt, staging on the road between the men's softball field and Thickens Field on the 23rd of March, 10 in the morning to 11 in the morning. They'll do it a week later if it rains on March 30th. So they're going to do it on the 23rd over by Thickens Field and men's softball, a week later if it rains. They have everything here, including insurance.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion. Another application, Town of Highlands Little League. They'd like to hold their baseball on the men's softball league, meaning instead of the Little League, because the Little League field was wiped out during the July 9th storm. So we talked, and this was another place for them that the recreation director agreed. So this year, Little League season will be held at the men's softball league, and they're gonna move the bases in, because they can only, what do they run? How does that work?
There's 60 feet.
60 feet?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
pegs are already there. We just gotta measure out 60 feet,
And also the pitching mound, they have to buy a pitching mound.
Yeah, and Aaron said he was gonna get one of those.
So it'll be from April 1 till June 30th, 5 PM to 8 PM. Application is complete, insurance is here. Motion,
So moved.
have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah, just one quick thing, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna ask Aaron, because I don't know if he wants to be locked in from 5 to 8. Like if they had a rain day, maybe, but I'll talk to Aaron.
Yeah, that's okay.
That would be, okay?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, the Town of Highlands is gonna hold their annual e-waste collection, which that's its computers and printers and all those gadgets. You can bring down to parking lot number 2, across from Sacred Heart, on the 20th of April. I'm assuming that's a Saturday? Right?
Yeah.
8 AM to noon, so all morning on Saturday, the 20th. You can bring your items down there and they'll help you unload and they'll take it away. Again, the application is here, insurance is here.
Motion.
Is there a second? Second by Jim, all in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion. Next, we have the 8th annual Juneteenth Parade celebration. It'll be on Saturday, June 15th, 9 in the morning to 5 all day, from Thayer Gate, Main Street to the gazebo at Memorial Park. You want the use of Lot 2 for a festival, and the insurance is still pending? So any approval would be pending insurance. So this is another good event. So could we have a motion to approve what they're asking for on the application, the areas they're asking for, pending insurance?
So moved, pending insurance.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next is Town of Highlands Youth Group. They're all home doing their homework. We have one young fella here that's going to give us a little information. I can tell you, is this about the Family Fun Day?
Yes.
Hello?
Go.
Is this about the Family Fun Day?
Yes, sir.
It is. So, I'm gonna let them speak to us, but a couple of things before. This youth group has, in the last couple of years, they're new, have done a lot. They've given a lot of support. Last year, they did the community fun fair at Thickens. And so everyone knows, they're asking to do it at Roe Park. Little League, Roe Park, where the pavilion is and the baseball field, when Little League isn't playing. And because just like us, there was damage done to Thickens Field, which the school owns, and they're going to be repairing from the storm. So the community fair that was held on Thickens Field last year won't be able to be there, but it'll be just across the street at Roe Park. They also helped out with the Holiday Hop, which was always a success. I see Dee here. She brought these events to us. The Christmas parade, raised $1,200. That's a lot of money for American Legion in town,
Oh, the haunted, yeah. the
all right?
haunted
And then
house.
with the haunted house.
If it wasn't raining on Sunday, we
And
went over.
Women's History Month, and along with Earth Day, participating. I'm gonna let you guys give us a couple minutes, but I would like to say to the adults that, with the budget here, I would ask you, you don't have to, but I would ask you to come see me
Okay.
on this budget. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Okay, very well.
So, we have to do the paperwork yet with what I just talked about, having the event on Royal Park, right?
Yes.
But we have time.
We actually, did we do all the paperwork? Did you send in the stuff?
Yeah, I sent in everything.
Oh, that's what I
So-
gave you, we were gonna put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yes.
And
We
what
have
are
it.
the insurance
We
too
have
for it?
It's just in case Pickens isn't ready in time.
Yeah, we have it. No, it's all done. Okay. Go ahead, guys.
So I know y'all got a paper long list,
Okay.
but I just cut it short.
He made it short.
Town of Highland Falls Youth Group would like to ask the Village of Highland Falls formally if they would please consider the request to use Roe Park as a backup if Pickens Field is not ready for our event on June 1st. We would also asking the village board if they would consider donating to our event, the Community Family Fund Day, because we would like to keep this completely free for the community to enjoy. We also are requesting the use of the gazebo for our Easter Bunny fundraising event on March 23rd from 11 to 1 p.m. Our parents have emailed the faculty requests over today for review.
Facility.
Facility.
The Easter egg,
No, it's
what'd you
too
call it? Easter?
No, it's a Easter Bunny fundraising event.
That's not the one that Aaron's doing. This is
No,
different.
no.
Did you get any paperwork on that?
I do have an event form
For that?
For the Easter Bunny.
I didn't have that.
Yeah. So,
Because I only have the one.
No, I sent it to everybody,
All
but
right, so, okay, yeah.
the kids are gonna do
We'll take
that.
it up at the next meeting and it'll be approved. It'll be approved. As far as the money, I heard that the town gave $250.
yes.
And are they holding it and the bill will be paid from them?
Yes,
Okay, that's the way I would ask the
Yes,
board to
that's-
do it also?
yes,
Yep.
And
please.
so I would like the board to approve $500 because, and where I'm getting the $500 is periodically, we get a check for $250 for the clothing bin that's down at Walgreens. Periodically, there's a company comes and empties that out. And we get a check a couple times a year for $250 and it goes into an item, I believe, Jim, under donations. So I checked today, there's 2 checks there. There's a total of, the checks aren't there, there's $500 there. So I would ask the board to approve the $500 from the clothing bin money to go to your event. And also, the bills could be bought to Village Hall vouchers. It's,
So,
for the auditors, it's a much,
so
that's the way to do it.
the way that I'm doing it with the town, when we see something that we wanna get purchased, we're gonna go to the town and they're gonna purchase it.
Yeah.
So that, and that, that's the exact same way that I would love for
We
it
have
to
a
be done
purchasing
here.
agent and they'll help.
Yeah,
Yeah. It makes it clean.
yes,
It's
that's the
easy.
reason why we like it that way.
Yeah, I would like a motion that the $500 that's in a line item under donations, because that's what it was from the clothing bin people, was $500.
Motion.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed? I'm sorry, Pete, I'm going too fast. Motion carries. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Anything you need to make it happen, come.
Yes, sir.
May I just one moment, please? I'm not taking anything away from the town of Highlands Youth. It's a wonderful, wonderful group, and it's the board's decision of what they want to do, but it is not the board's decision to discriminate. Back in July, Community Connections, that runs a program for special needs families to bring programming to the town for families that are out of district, and has never asked for any money, was told specifically the village should not give any money to the special needs group because the village payers pay school taxes for the special needs. So why is that different for typical kids to atypical kids? It's a rhetorical question, I'm saying it for the record, because it just is not fair.
I don't disagree.
I appreciate that.
And we're gonna have, at least we're gonna have to, I don't know if it's you or someone, we've gotta figure this out.
Yeah, there should be.
I can't give village taxpayers money away to everyone who comes in.
I would
there
just
wants to
tread
put a
very
grade on.
trepidatiously on the
But-
comments, that's
but-
all, and if you decide to
I
give
hear
one.
you.
Typically what happens is.
Because we're walking a fine line.
When it gets to a point where multiple entities are asking for donations, then a village or a town will put together a policy. Okay, I don't think you actually have a formal written policy about, then that's something that the board should consider, so that in the future, you have a policy to rely on. And it, you know, it would be up to the board to decide what that policy is, and the limits of how much is given, et cetera, the conditions upon which any money is given.
On the to-do list.
I think you have to compare apples to apples.
Rhetorical, I don't
and
want you to
not
answer because you're the one who said it.
oranges.
Is what it
The
is.
money that we just approved tonight is not taxpayer money. It's from a collection bin, and we happen to have $500. We, actually, that was a surprise, that it was even brought up by the mayor tonight, and he wants to give it, and okay. That sounds like a good cause.
You can talk your way out of a paper bag.
I think the question about giving, I know, right? About giving taxpayer money for a specific organization,
I
such as.
I
Nobody
appreciate your
else.
comment, but
It's different.
technically it does belong to the taxpayer. But I appreciate what you're saying. Thank you.
And I don't know, and just to comment, I don't know that it was the board sentiment. I think it was an individual on the board.
Yes, so let me explain that, okay? Right, yeah, so I think you're referring to me.
I just said
At that
individual.
time, when that happened, right, there was $10,000 that you were asking for a sensory.
I didn't ask
organ.
for, we didn't ask for anything.
Nobody
Oh,
asked
so you
for
didn't
it.
ask for anything, well, then there's no issue.
Of course not paper
There's no
bag it
issue.
around.
There, you didn't ask for anything, then
Okay.
there is no
So I'm
issue.
going to continue with my notes here. Bear with me. Very important item here, and I want to thank Trustee Ramus for helping me with this. There was a meeting on Mountain Avenue, which I'm going to let you explain, not explain, but talk about what happened that day.
I'll give some.
Yeah, okay. So, we had the regional director of DOT here. That's good. We've been working on this for a couple decades. We, after the meeting,
I'm sorry, what? Are
after
you
the
talking to
meet-
me?
Am I?
No, that fellow up there.
After they met on Mountain Avenue with some drainage issues, Upper Mountain Avenue, like where the last homes are, Mr. Julian lived there at one time, maybe you know what I mean. And Jimmy will talk about that. They then went down to the dead end of Mers. And some of you folks may know, sir, I think you may know, that's to call it an issue is a tremendous understatement. These pipes jet out the backyards of the folks on Mearns Avenue and dump on the houses, the homes on Mearns Avenue, literally wipe them out, continue across the street to the east side of Mearns Avenue, wipe them out, and then it flows down to the Little League field. It wiped it out into the lake, and with John Jones in charge of the highway department, he's in charge of the lake, pond, whatever you want to call it. He knows exactly when to lower it, otherwise it'll rise, overflow, and it goes down Walnut. This is amazing what happens here. Okay, so we have that in control. But I just want everyone to know that we've met with DOT, I can say this in public, they were shocked. The regional director was shocked. He was shocked of the system that DOT dumps water onto us. So they went back to the drawing board, and there's going to be talk soon about a resolution. That's big. This is very, very good news for that area of the village. Jimmy, you want to say something about Mountain Avenue?
Oh, yeah, I can just turn in real quick on it. So, I believe it was sometime in January, we had some discussion on it because of the icing conditions up at the top of Mountain Avenue where it comes in. And we all know how that water kind of sheet flows because it's like kind of super elevated there. So I reached out to Mr. Skoufis' office and Mr. Ekis' office, and it's no secret, you know, me and Mr. Skoufis, we always don't see eye to eye on things, but on, you know, we put down our swords after elections and we tried to work together. And he came through on this. He actually called me up personally and said he was going to have Matthew in his office spearhead this, and we were able to get 6 people from the DOT down there. As the mayor said, the deputy regional director, the regional maintenance engineer, the assistants, regional engineer, the acting regional engineer who is in residency 8-4, along with another regional engineer. That's big. I mean, I do civil engineering, and to get that many people from the DOT onto one site is phenomenal. So, it took a little bit of time, but they came down, they did their initial inspection. So as soon as you leave the village, there is a culvert that goes underneath the road. He was down there, he said, we clear that culvert, all you gotta do is call us if it gets clogged, and we'll take care of that. So I asked him, I said, so what about the other side of the road? And he said, well, I see it's coming down some of those driveways. I was like, okay. I said, look, I appreciate it. We spearheaded the postcard campaign way back in the day to get 218 paid. And I thanked him profusely for that. So with that being said, I said, so when you paved this in front of O&R, you worked on the swale there on that side of the road, on the northern side. I said, why didn't you do it up here? And I was informed that the swale is the homeowner's responsibility. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and argue with them about anything like that. So I said, so if the homeowner can get down in there and clean it, it's not a problem, right? And they said, no, they have to get a permit. So now we're back to DOT stuff. But with that being said, at least we had them down there, and hopefully with these people on board, and if we can talk to the homeowners about how that water sheet flows across, we could actually expedite any permits that they need. There was one other issue up there on Mountain Avenue, and that's the reveal on the curb. So the reveal on the curb is a 1-inch reveal, and it's in their specs. And so I asked them about it, and they were like, well, no, there's not supposed to be a reveal. I said, well, according to your specification 608-3, there is a reveal. So after I showed them that, they were like, well, we will definitely look into seeing what we can do about the reveals on the curbs. You might not think 1-inch reveal takes a lot of water, but it will. So it's going to help the people on that southern side. And for the moment, that's where we stand up there, but hopefully we will see some work getting done. And I also asked about putting a head wall in where that culvert is to catch the water so it doesn't come across. And then, as the mayor stated, we made a lot of headway on Murns Avenue. So everything's in the works on that. Any more information I get, I'll make sure I let everybody know.
Could they look into
Let me
putting
go
the
to the next
culvert
item.
by the fence there where the gate
So,
is?
next,
Where the water washed it out?
Mike, this is not the way it goes.
Oh,
You know
I'll
that.
talk to him after.
No, yeah,
I'll talk to him
or
after.
later.
No, I'll
So-
talk to him after.
So our first check from FEMA will be arriving within days, maybe a week, $342,000. That was for Station Hill Road. So Jim, I guess once we get that, we can start more projects, right? It'll help. So $342,000, that's good news. Last week, there was a Town of Highlands Emergency Preparedness Committee meeting that I'm on. There's a few other people in this room that are on it. I couldn't go because that's the day the Department of State came down about the grant. So I thought I should go to that. I had Chief Torpy represent me. But before that, I met with Sally, she's in the back there, and we talked about COTS. This is going to be the recovery station when things go bad in town, and we want to provide. We want to have an area in this building. It might be a room, that room back there where this young man's standing. We'll have cots and blankets and pillows and sheets. And I have a couple of requests in for that. I have a grant writer writing a grant up for a generator, $20,000 to $25,000. I have a generator here for when electricity goes out. And the chief and I are working with Kurt Hahn, who's the director of the emergency management here in the town of Highlands, for a new notification system. Recently, we realized that when notifications are put out and you get that text on your phone, some people get an hour later, some people get it 5 hours later. So it doesn't work the way we want it to. This system seems to work. Other communities have it. I think Cornwall has it, and actually it's free.
Kurt,
So,
Joe, Kurt is working diligently on
so
it.
sometimes, you know, I mean, I think this will work. So they're looking at, the chief is looking at that with Kurt. I had the pleasure Sunday afternoon to go to this young man's moving up ceremony. I'll call it, to an Eagle Scout. He's something else, calm. And if you go up north from here, you're right across the street from Barsh's Garage, the USAA, you'll see a garden that was totally overgrown. Bad shape, beyond bad. He and some other guys, they got a team together. They drew a plan on what to put there, what kind of flowers to put there. There's a Buffalo Soldiers field, flag. There's a little kiosk there that talks about the Buffalo Soldiers. And I had the honor to present him with a plaque, kind of a large plaque that I had received from the Buffalo Soldiers. The wall signed it, and I gave it to him. So that was an honor for me to do. St. Patrick's Parade. Peter, help me out. The committee, I know it was George Fallon, it was you. Who else? Jeanette?
Yeah, Jeanette.
Jeanette Scott? Maria Palella. Isn't she Italian? Her mother's from Ireland. Okay, well, let her in. Okay. So I want to thank you because, you know, all the hard, I know about putting on a parade and all the hard work and all the meetings. And at night you wake up, I hope it doesn't rain next week when the parade comes and hear it rain. But the parade still went on. We all stood out there. And it was the heaviest rain of the whole day, was then. But it worked.
We missed it by one day.
Yeah, oh yeah, the next day was beautiful. So, but I want to thank the committee, okay? Good work, good work. This day after tomorrow, we'll be meeting with Scenic Hudson about the trail down behind the old Grand Union. That's still alive and well. It's going to happen. We talked about live streaming the meetings. We talked about that already. We talked to the youth group already. I'm glad you have the $500. When you need something, come to us. We'll purchase it. We did get another check from the EV stations. I think it's our third for 510. Went down a little bit, but it's winter. It'll go back up. I want to thank Ty King and all. I'm sure you had other people, but Ty King and all that were involved in the Buffalo Soldiers Association of West Point annual Black History Program with James I. O'Neill. It was, I think Melanie was there. There were other folks there. A lot of work went into that, and I'm glad we do it every year. Wonderful event. Chamber, I can't get up right now, but I have an application filled out. I don't know what my dues are, you tell me. But everyone in the room should we want businesses. We want businesses. We met too. I met with the chamber a few days, last week. We don't really want it to be, I'm not speaking for you, but we really don't want it to be a community. We want it to be a business association. That's what it's for. But anyone can join, so think about it. Dee is quite the mover and shaker. Central Hudson, more than is showing interest in putting a gas line on Regina Road and having it go south into Ondiora Park. There'll be a meeting soon with all the residents. And they're requesting certain information from us, construction in Under Park, that we're doing the water, the sewer, the stormwater. Some of these areas that we opened up is where the gas line's gonna go, and wherever the gas line goes, they're gonna pay for the restoration, not the village taxpayers. So that's another good deal. So we'll be, the engineer and I will be meeting with them to discuss restoration proposals and confirm that Central Hudson should be part of the project. So that's all gonna happen. That's good stuff. Catholic Charities, I want to congratulate all the award winners. One local award winner is Father Joe, Sacred Heart Church. I do have a nice plaque I'm going to give him. There was a ceremony in Monticello, and I'm so glad that Catholic Charities is recognizing him. So that'll take place this month. The fourth and final sales tax quarter check, the village received $407,181.97. So the sales tax continues to go up. So we like that. Like you were shopping before out there. That's what we like. Every Friday, I continue to still meet with FEMA in this room. Comp plan. The village, I left open the workshop. The board sits. I'd like to propose Saturday, the 16th of March at 9:30 here. Hopefully we can wrap it up on that workshop. If we can, good. And then we'll go back to the public hearings. That public hearing was also left open. So one more workshop. I hope maybe we need two, I'm not sure. And then the public hearing again. 9:30. I'm almost done too, so. Greek Independence Day. No one knows this probably but me, but many, many years ago, more than 20 years ago, the Greeks came to me from Rockland County. It's a club called a HEPA 445. I'm a member of that. I might be the only non-Greek. And asked if they could raise the Greek flag in March, because it was their, like our 4th of July, it was their Independence Day. I really didn't know much about it. But I said, sure. I immediately said, yeah, sure, we can raise a Greek flag. And so we did, and that Greek flag ceremony in the end of March got a lot bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden there were buses from New York City coming up, there were refreshments at the firehouse, there were kids dressed in costume, Greek music, and it really blew up in a good way. Then COVID came and it stopped, but we're doing it again. We resurrected it. They came to me again, and it's going to be on Saturday, March 23 at 2 o'clock at Memorial Park. This is on Channel 23. A couple of Greek churches, one from Newburgh, one from Rockland. Music, children in costume, light refreshments, and so that's back. And the end of that story is, that is exactly how, before the Greek flag, there was no Irish flag raising, there was no Italian flag raising, there was no Polish flag raising. All of those different nationalities came after the Greek flag. Let the Greeks raise a flag, and the Irish raise a flag, of course. So that's how that all got started, which is great. And now we have all those different flag raising ceremonies. Some years are smaller than others. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's an honor to raise someone's heritage, and I'll do it for any. That's it. No.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I think you mentioned a couple of things already that I was going to mention, which is Ty King's Town of Highlands Emergency Management Team and the meeting on that. That was very good. And the point for having these meetings is to just have the community organized so we can quickly react in the event of another major emergency. And that's not just the village of Highland Falls, it's Port Montgomery, it's also West Point. So I'm really glad that he's taking the lead on that, and he's including everybody.
Can I just make one quick comment? Sally came to me a week, 10 days ago, whatever. She says, we're getting high winds tonight. I said, Sally.
You were right with me, okay? Don't even try it,
Please,
you
I
were
tell
right
I
there.
had to spend 10 hours on the wind that never came. Anyway, that I say that as a positive, I say that as a compliment, you know, thank God. But I did wake up around 1:32, and I told you this. I was gonna call you
I know.
and say, no wind, but I
I know.
go ahead.
Okay. So Olga had asked about the grant process, and I think that is great that we got that $4.5 million New York Forward grant. We've been trying for many years, and I think it is a good use of taxpayer money, right? Millennium Strategy is our grant writer group. They've been very good about sending out applications for different grants, and this is a big win, right? It's a big win for the community. We should also thank, he was mentioned by Jim earlier, Assemblyman Icas, Congressman Pat Ryan, and Senator James Skoufis. Each of them sent in letters of support with our application, and they cited the damage caused by the July 9th flood. I'm sure it had something to do with us getting approved. They argued that winning the grant is going to help the community recover by leveraging continued private investment in the community. So it doesn't really matter what political affiliation you have, you know, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, these are faces that you see supporting our community. They're at parades, the community organizers organize. They're the three people who put letters of support, Icas, Ryan, Skoufis. They've always supported us, so I thank them. And Olga, the question about what the $4.5 million is supposed to be spent on. There are 4 major areas on our application. The application, by the way, is on the website. It's kind of hard to find. Yeah, you gotta go to Highland Falls, New York, documents, and then down there somewhere you'll find the application. There are 4 major areas that we're gonna spend the money on. The biggest one is the Main Street facade renovations. 23 buildings on Main Street were actually identified. Each of them were put on the grant application, about $3 million for just facade renovations. General branding and marketing of downtown for $500,000, enhancing the flow and safety of downtown traffic to make it more walkable and bikeable. And I think that is the answer to our parking. I think that is the demographic we should actually be attracting to live in the apartments downtown. Ones who walk, ones who bike, ones who take the shuttle to work. And then I think there's another $1 million, so it's over 4.5, that we said if we were to get the grant money, that we would expand access to the waterfront via Station Hill Road. That's what we put down in our application as the broad categories of where we will spend the grant money on. So the next step is this, and I'm seeing a lot of people are wondering, well, who is this committee? What is this committee that needs to be formed that actually will decide on what projects we undertake? My understanding is that the mayor sends out a list of people he wants to be on the committee. Is this, the whole board is deciding that, or just you?
The state told me to make a list, and that's what I've done. And I really do have to go back to, we need to be careful what we're saying here.
Oh,
Because a
wow.
lot of what you said is not in fact factual yet.
Which-
So I don't want, well, everything that you just said, whether it's facades, which I really do believe will be eligible, but you can't
I
state
didn't
it.
say eligibility, hang on.
can't state it as
That's-
fact.
That's
Don't
what's in
state
the
it as fact.
application.
Okay,
On the
Don't state it as
application
a-
are those 4
please be careful.
categories. I don't know what you're arguing.
I'm not, you know-
The application said those 4 categories You can all read it yourselves.
That's right.
That's, so, okay,
These
so
are
but
broad,
are
here's
you
the
thinking of
application.
changing it?
They're very, very broad,
Yes,
what we put
they're
in
very,
there.
very broad.
So we need to be careful when we say this has been approved and that's been approved, because to be
Nobody
honest
said
with
that,
you,
the application
nothing's been
said there were
approved.
4
Nobody
categories.
said that.
But,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm
What
glad,
I'm
was
getting
very
from,
I'm glad you understood.
I
yes.
do.
I thank you so
I
Yeah,
much.
went to
I
high
think the public
school.
understood what
Thank
I
you.
was saying.
Right, I hope so.
Yeah, so the 4 categories are those, it's written in black and white
Yes.
on the grant application. Okay, the next question is, who's gonna be in this committee that you will send their names? They have to be vetted by the state.
That's right.
So he sends in a list of names to the state of who should be in the planning committee. I think there's about 8 to 15 people who would be in that planning committee, and they have to be vetted by the state, and that committee decides what projects to undertake.
Is there public input at all? I mean, public hearings, public meetings?
Oh, a lot, a whole lot.
Yeah,
A whole
comments,
On the
please.
list?
On the, well, that's
mean
my
on the list?
question,
The
actually,
meetings?
that's why I was asking him, who
No.
decides on
lot.
who
What are
is
you
on
asking?
the list? I think people should have an
He's
input.
asking who decides
Who
Who's
goes
on the list?
Who's on the list?
Oh, I thought you were talking about meetings, that's what she was talking about.
No, the list.
No,
Who
yeah.
goes on the list?
So I'm not being asked, okay? It sounds like there's only one person who will be deciding that. I do think that people, I suggest that people who have been committed to this community should be on that list, right? People who have proven over and over again that they're doing good things for the community. The Chamber of Commerce, Vision, the Environmental Committee, the Center of Highland Falls. Those people who just for years on end now, without asking for money, just organize groups of people within the community to try to do good things. I think their names should be on that list.
How do you know they're not?
Yeah.
You don't know who's on the list, so how do you know
I
they're not?
know, I don't, so hopefully they are, yeah. I don't know who's on the list, you're right.
Well,
I hope
hopefully
those
you'll
people are on
publish
the
it.
list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor, are you gonna publish the list before you submit it?
No, I'm told not to.
No.
I was shocked when I was told, I said I was gonna contact these people, see if they said yes. No, you don't do that.
Yes,
No,
so,
there's a background check, right?
yes.
I'm not gonna debate this, I'm telling you the state told me.
No debate, I'm gonna agree with you. So I
Thank you.
had a meeting recently with Orange County Chamber, and Cornwall was there to describe their process. So actually, when the mayor puts in the list, it's actually, he has to give them more than what they need.
Yeah,
They vet the list, they contact, not even the mayor, they contact the individual
Yeah.
and tell them to keep it quiet until all individuals have been contacted. So the first part of the vetting is like really quiet. She even told me
yeah.
that he probably
I
won't
was
know
surprised.
in the end of his, like, let's say he gives them 20 names and they pick 15, he won't know which ones got picked until everyone has been accepted, knows the role,
Thank you, Dean.
and then it'll be, the public opinion comes in afterwards when they
Thank
bring
you,
in their third party.
And the other
to
thing
discuss
is, you give them
projects.
more than what they might need, I wanna go back to the money. They want us to put in, it's $4,500,000, they want us to put in between $6 and $8 million worth of projects.
Yeah, so
Some
that, so we
projects,
found
you know.
out a lot of information this
Yeah,
past
good,
week.
thank you
last
so
week.
much.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
go
So
ahead.
I hope the people who are good people are put on the list. Okay, so next is the Center of Highland Falls. Ann Molina is organizing a trip to Niagara Falls, June 24 to 28. That's $715 per person, but it's double for 5 days and 4 nights. It includes a cruise, a guided tour of Niagara Falls, and lodging. Please sign up, let me know, or sign up through her. There's also a casino trip to Wind Creek in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania in 10 days. The cost is $30. And the bus leaves not from here, but from Florida, New York. If you're interested, come to me, I'll give you the number to call so that you can sign up. Hannah Pitt, the new program director for the center, she's gonna be hosting a meeting March 13th at 7 p.m. for a new group that she's calling the United Efforts. What she's hoping for is to bring representatives from clubs, organizations, local government, churches, other community stakeholders together to move the Tana Highlands forward. When I say Tana Highlands, I don't mean Fort Montgomery, I mean Fort Montgomery, Village of Highland Falls, and West Point. The meeting is gonna be at the Mission Center on 316 Main Street, March 13th. On Saturday, we had a budget workshop, okay? That was the first of the budget workshops for the month. The budget workshop, we sit around, we talk about what the expenditures are and what the revenues are, really what the expenditures are. The budget meeting this Saturday was about the police department. The police department submitted their budget request, and it is more than what was last year's ask by $110,000. So for transparency, the public safety police department cost at the end of the 2023 fiscal year, $2.4 million, okay? That's over 40% of our entire general fund budget. We're a community of 1 square mile with 1,100 households, just a little over 1,100, okay? This $2.4 million for one department includes payroll and employee benefits for 11 full-time employees. We need to cut spending. Okay? We need to cut spending. We're a village of limited resources. We're drowning in debt. Just this year, our debt service, which is the minimum payments required of the village to pay off the debt, is going to be close to $1 million. Last year, our debt service was over $620,000. And then after that, we borrowed another $6 million. So our debt service minimum payments requirements that you guys have to pay this year is a lot. It's a lot of money. So what we need to do is cut spending and not raise your taxes. That's what I've been saying, not raise your taxes. I suggest we go to Orange County 911 dispatch. That saves you $500,000 a year. Okay. I also suggested to Chief Torpy that we work with the town police department to have 2 police officers who are per shift covering both Fort Montgomery and Highland Falls, instead of the current setup, which is really 3 police officers covering both places. That saves you a lot of money too, if you did it that way. And it's safe. It doesn't compromise public safety. We have to live within our means. We don't have to raise taxes if we cut spending, okay? There's a couple more budget meetings coming up. If you want to attend, it should be, actually there's one on Wednesday night. It's posted on the website. The Connect program, which is the West Point Association of Graduates Connect program, is going strong at the intermediate school. This Wednesdays, they're going to have a special reading open house to celebrate Dr. Seuss. On Friday, they're going to have cadets from the West Point Center of Diversity and Leadership in STEM programs engage with the intermediate school students to learn about electrical engineering. So that's really super. And lastly, my building department report. For February, the building department received 20 permit applications, issued 19 permits. Phil did 64 building permit inspections, and he issued 25 violation notices and issued 15 certificates of compliance. All in all, it was a very busy month for him.
Jimmy?
All right, I was thinking about it again, so just want to say one more time. Me and Mr. Skoufis, Senator Skoufis, we must have had an epiphany, because I think our mentor, Senator Larkin, grabbed our shoulders and said, remember what I taught you guys about working together. And that's a shout out to Senator Skoufis and Senator Larkin, who was a great man. So just want everybody to know that. So as far as the sewer department, we didn't have our meeting that I generally give the January reports at, so let me give you the January report. Our average volume that we treated was 1.27 million gallons a day. Precipitation in January was heavy again, it was 9.2 inches. As everybody knows, the rainy season's coming, April showers bring May flowers. So if you start to get flooding in your basement, please don't put your sump pumps into the sewer drain. Put it out the window, let it go down the road. Because when it goes in the sewer, we have to treat it. When we treat it, we have to use chemicals, and that costs us money. So the more water that goes into the sewer system like that, the more we got to treat, and the more it costs us. So the facilities all met the DEC speeds permit limitations. The men keep continuing to work on the pump stations. They're checked regularly. They're all working fine. TAM Enterprise had to go down on pump 2 and clear some blockage and reset it. And we also had some electrical contacts for the pumps that needed to be replaced. Also, back in service is pump 3 now, following some repairs. That was on January 15th. Aventis is down there at the sewer plant. They're also removing the existing digester furnace and the heat exchanger for replacement. This is all part of a phasing program down there that we've been working on for a while. Speaking about working together, the men down at the sewer plant and at the DPW, they work together. It's like an interwoven team. It's a great fabric of men that we have there. So they were up helping the street department from the sewer department with snow removal when we had it, and vice versa. Everybody chipped in to work on water leaks and sewer lateral replacement. So the Highlanders Gazette. This is in the back of the room. Kathy Jones puts this together on her own. I got to the back page and it has an apple cake. Fantastic. Next Monday is Johnny Appleseed Day. I don't know if Kathy knew that when she put this in here, but Johnny Appleseed Day, apple cake, sounds great. Also, next Tuesday on the 12th is Girl Scout Day. It was founded in 1912. I already bought my Girl Scout cookies, so they're out there, look for them, support the Girl Scouts. They are a wonderful organization, and the ladies that come out of there are phenomenal. A couple other quick things, Mr. Mayor. Civil service job exams. Go to the Orange County website. There is a boatload of them out there for a lot of different things. Click on it. Anybody who wants to get involved in civil service jobs, Orange County website, or you can actually call 845-291-2707. The Veterans Information Conference is going to be held at Thomas Bull Memorial Park, up at the golf park, and that is on 4/25, and it's from 1 to 4 p.m. There's a lot of great speakers that are going to be there. Honor Flight, Clear Path for Vets, Middletown Vet Center, Hudson Valley Vets, Orange County Clerk will be there, the DAV will be there. There's just a whole boatload of them. They're going to have some light refreshments and door prizes, all provided by the DA's office. But again, if you're a veteran and you want to go out there, it's a great time to network with some people out there. That's from 1 to 4. They also continue to give me some locks that are down at Village Hall. If anybody wants to stop in, they're on the counter. If there's none there, ask the girls behind the counter. And if they are out, I have a couple more boxes that we can put down there, or I can get more. Also, April. Actually, yeah, let's stick with April. There's an eclipse coming. They're going to have an eclipse viewing at Bear Mountain. That's on April 8th. So it's, once in our lifetime. Down there, they're going to have 50 eclipse glasses that are going to be distributed, first come, first serve. But if you want to, before that, there's a countdown, and you can go and actually learn how to make your own. And they're at a couple places that are generally kind of local, over at the Rockefeller State Park Preserve, and that's going to be on March 17th. And they're also going to have one up at Minnewaska State Park Preserve at Sam's Point. Again, anybody that wants this information, you can go to the DEC's website. I can't remember the last time I seen an eclipse that's gonna happen like this in this general area. And last but not least, everybody knows with the FEMA and the flooding, and, you know, we are still gonna be on the hook for 25%. And I'm not hearing anything back from our elected officials, but they're busy. This is their calendar, this is their busy season, but they are up there. So if we can reach out to them and just ask them if they could at least get that onto their agenda to talk about covering half of our 25% in this year's budget up there, somehow, some way, that would be a good thing. That's what it is.
That's it?
I mean, I got more, but I'll save it.
Pete? Please don't top that.
My name is Pete, because I don't know all the people, maybe you know me, I don't know. They took me for a tour at the water department this week, and it was very interesting and very professional out there. And, you know, they tried to explain everything to me, and we were there for quite a while, about an hour and a half. And, you know, a lot of it is completely new to me, you know, but I'm glad they gave me the water department. It's just something totally stuff. I've been talking with these guys. Their jobs are a lot more difficult than mine. For the report that they gave me, from 2/24 to 3/1, everything's, daily operations were all normal. They had a couple of minor things that they, you know, they replaced fuses and things like that. They tell you that, but I don't think that's very important. The important thing is that Upper Bog Meadow, the spillway, way, and the levels were good. Lower Bog Meadow, the spillway was in good condition. Jim's Pond, there was nothing to report this week. And then in the 9W Reservoir, spillway looked good. So everything up there was running real smooth the day I was there. They showed me how they drain the tubs and everything, and how everything seems to work. And you know, they're very professional about it. So I was happy to be involved with those guys. And that's about it.
Thank you, Pete. Jim?
Yes, a couple of things. I did have a chance to reach out to our assemblyman for our district to discuss about the 12.5%. And it does appear that it's going to try to be part of the budget, the earmarking budget, which I didn't really understand, because usually in the past, it's been authorized, I think, through the executive branch. So it's just taking a little longer. I'm hoping that it'll make it through the budget process. The budget process can be grueling, and we have to hopefully get through the process of when they actually have to approve it. If it's past that time, then we would have to wait. So it's making budgeting locally a little more difficult to try to anticipate and forecast numbers. We did have a budget meeting this morning, Saturday morning, and it was attended by some residents. We did talk about a lot of different things. As we move through the budget process, you know, there's a difference between what the department head requests and what we talk about, and we try to maintain a certain level of public service and try to maintain a level of cost too. A couple people in town asked me about the post office. I happened to be in Village Hall with the mayor, and one of the carriers was there and said that he was hoped by end of this week or end of next week that the post office is going to open up on Main Street. We did take on additional debt service this year, but that's because we did a lot of projects. We did a sewer lining project in a part of the community that needed it. We did water lines in a part of the community that needed it, and we did a massive drainage project in a part of the community that needed it. all of which was approved by this board, the expenses. So it's important that we continue to invest in infrastructure, and unfortunately, nobody has a crystal ball. We didn't know rates were gonna go where they were gonna go, so obviously, we're not paying like we were paying 2 years ago. In addition to that, working with the new treasurer, and the village hall staff, we are taking advantage of the better rates that banks are offering. We've moved some monies around per our financial policy approved by the board, and to date in our reserve funds, we are approximately earning $3,600 a month. So the end of fiscal year last year, we were a little over $35,000, and then this year we're probably on target should rates for savings, money markets stay where they are. We should probably be closer around $40,000 a month. We did work with some of the financial institutions that have been holding our money for some time, and had a little brief conversation with them and said, we need better rates or we're gonna have to move it somewhere else. So they inclined, and turns out they'd like to keep our money in their banks, so they gave us better rates, which is good. Just in comment to the police budget, it was brought up at the meeting about trying to work, trying to work the shifts out with the town. And that's a good idea, and the town has been going through some of their own issues with staffing and stuff like that, and dealing with covering shifts and stuff. It's natural. I mean, every department has the issue, and the town is in the process of building a new model now. That we're part-time for many, many years. I remember sitting on the board and with Chief Whitson who passed, and that model worked very well down there during those times. As things change and the state changes, we lost a lot of part-time officers to other states, and they just moved out of town, they retired, and they just moved on. So, the village did offer, working with the chief, we did make an offer to the supervisor to try to contract out with them, with police, and they decided not to go that way, and that's fine. This isn't a gotcha type of situation. They decided to go to the model that they're going to move forward with, which is full-time. And those costs are going to be real. They're going to be real because the part-time model is great on paper. I remember when I was on the town board, but the full-time model just gets expensive. So it's hard for us to be on the village board and say public safety matters, and we have to rely on another department for backup, which is normal. The officers work out during the shift, but it's hard for the town to rely on us if they can't get to a call. Or it's nice to say that you try to work it out. One cop down there, one cop up here, and everything hopefully works out. But you can't really plan for that. And you can probably talk to any law enforcement agency. It's very difficult to plan for that. Because as we all know, especially in this community, tragedies do occur. And it gets hairy. So just for the public to have an open mind and the board to have an open mind as we go through the budget process. A lot of more information on the budget will probably come out this week. We were waiting for some information from the state on healthcare costs and retirement costs, and also workman's comp costs. So we should have a lot more information coming to the board this week, along with our revenues. Because we get our revenues, and this is boring stuff, I apologize, but it's important. Our revenues come from a couple different places. They come from taxes, they come from sales taxes, the mayor talked about, and other different franchise fees and different fees. So we are working to make sure those look good and get it all to the board. And finally, a boilerplate report, which was the police department for the month of February. There was a total of 792 calls. There were 2 felony arrests, 7 misdemeanors, 4 violations, for a total of 13 arrests. There were 55 different summonses issued. Between traffic and parking tickets were roughly about the same. Meter collections were $1,626. Village ticket fees were $745, and report fees were $28, for a total revenue of $2,399. Total mileage driven by the shifts was 5,671.6 miles, which is pretty wild when you think about it. and 524 gallons of gas were used. So that was the report from the PD, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Joe, I stopped it before I got to June. So everybody, June's gonna be a busy month. June 1st, Youth Day. June 8th, National Outdoor Day. Fishing Derby. Mary Jane. And Juneteenth is on the 15th. 3 weekends in a row. It's gonna be a great June for this community.
A public comment. Yes.
Hi, my name is Ann Taylor. I'm coming up in front of you again, Mayor, as you know, asking about the triangle at Mill Park. The nice weather is coming, the baseball fields are coming, our games are coming. Sunday, the weather was beautiful. The kids on the bicycles there is going to be a traffic accident that's going to be tragic there. There are 4 triangles that I know of in the village. There may be others. There's one on the top of Cousins by South Street. There's one down by Memorial Park, where you can't make a left turn. There is the park where at Lady Cliff College, one way down that side. I don't understand why we can't get one arrow direction on that one section. I looked at all of the stop signs, all of the yield signs, all the one-way streets, back and forth, Hickory, Wyant, Portsmouth. There is no safe reason, and if something is not done, I just want it on public record that when the disaster happens, and the way it's going and looking these days with the speed and the kids on the bicycles, that it's on public record that this has been addressed. So thank you. And I think that Chief Torby has spoken to his police officers, because today when I was out there, 3 times different police officers went out. They all went to the end of the triangle before they made that left. And with the park closed down at the other end, and the ball game starting at both fields and the festivals, something is going to seriously
We had a
happen.
meeting this morning, I know, all right, okay, I hear.
Thank you.
Yes.
Michael Joyce, member of the village. I was at Saturday's budget meeting for the police department, and there's one thing I can't fathom. They had everything, uniforms, everything. And I know trustee DeSalvo says there's new benefits. Well, I can't see why we couldn't put in the benefits from last year that we do know about. You know, health benefits and overtime. I mean, it's all taxpayer money, and it would frame a clarity of picture as to how much we actually do spend on the police force. Now look, I wore a uniform, different type of uniform, and there are nuts out there, they see a uniform and it's like a red flag to a bull. But we're 1 square mile. Now, the option, you don't have to reduce the police, but you could get rid of 4911, because we're paying for 911 in Orange County. We all pay for it. Now, I was a union carpenter. These guys are all from the village. Everybody knows everybody. But when I got to the top of the building, sorry, here's your layoff check. We all have a wish list. I would like a Maserati and go to the south of France every year. But I can't. I don't have the money. We don't have the money in this village. We have to make decisions. And expecting old people on fixed incomes who worked hard all their lives, who now have to make the decision between food, medicine, or paying their taxes. Because certain people can't grasp that this money comes from hard-working individuals that sacrificed all their lives to have something in their twilight years where the taxes are going to go so high that they'll have to sell and move away. And these are the people of the base of your village. These are the people you guys grew up with. And you're going to tax them, besides making hard decisions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, Facebook, it's out there, but people don't always see it. In this 1.1 square mile of the village, we have not one, but two, and I'm using his words, amazing women who will be honored later this month. Our trustee, Dr. Melanie Guerrero, and Sally George, who has proven to be a huge asset to this community, and I just want to say congratulations to both of you.
Real quick, so during the flood, Sacred Heart acquired hundreds of cleanup buckets. A lot of people came and got a whole bunch of them, however, I have a whole bunch still left. I am offering that over to the community. I did, during the town meeting also, I did put it out there that if anyone is interested in a cleanup bucket, to please reach out to me. You basically have no problem finding me. Otherwise, I did have a conversation with Kurt Hahn that I would give them up to emergency management for other communities that may have a disaster, but I would like for our community to get it first.
Alina Olivia, village resident. Most of you probably don't know me. I was born in California. I spent most of my childhood in Oklahoma. I lived in a different house every year of my life until I was 12, so I was never really in the same place for very long. My husband is the opposite. He was born and raised here in Highland Falls. Our children are the 5th generation in his line to live here in the village, which our kids are getting older now, and they're trying to figure out what they'll be doing with their lives, which is exciting to see. And if we do not have some significant positive movement in this community, then our children are not going to have a reason to stay here. And that's why I'm here listening and learning. That's why I've been speaking up at these meetings. This place really means something to me. And the trajectory that we are currently on is not going to get us back to a place of keeping generational history here. I've been trying to articulate to this board that your behavior is unbecoming. When residents come up to speak on a subject or when someone challenges you, you should be responding with factual information and maybe some evidence to back it up. Instead, you respond with hanging your head in your hands, rolling your eyes, huffing and puffing, and talking over each other. I know that you all put in so much more than what we see here at these meetings. So I am asking that you please start letting your passion for politics shine through here instead of your intolerance for opposition. Now, the village was recently awarded $4.5 million for Main Street, which is also really exciting, but I hope to see more thorough forethought in how that money is spent. And I'd like to give an example and reference the plum trees along Main Street. They came out of a grant, if I'm correct. They were a great idea. They're beautiful, one of my favorite trees actually. But there was no long-term thinking there. Those trees grow at a rate of about 2 feet per year, and they get anywhere from 15 to 25 feet tall and equally wide. So you're not looking at much more time before they become an encumbrance to our electrical lines, the traffic, parking, the buildings, even the root systems could potentially heave the concrete sidewalks that were also recently new. So those trees are going to present a very heavy amount of future maintenance, and that is if they live that long. Because almost all of the trees right now have black knot fungus on them, and if they do not receive immediate attention, we're going to lose them. A better choice would have been maybe an upright boxwood or a holly or another of my favorites, Evergoldie, which all of these suggestions are evergreen, so they look the same all year round and they're more easily maintained. So I do hope that you keep in consideration the ending of whatever projects come to pass with that grant. I do have some information on the black knot fungus to give you all. And I have comment and addressed this board the last several meetings in a row. And I just would like to ask if any of you have any response to me and the things that I have discussed.
And the things that you said tonight?
The things I've said over the last several
The
meetings.
only thing I'll address, you're right about, we gotta pick the right trees, and we did go out and talk to, I don't know, what is his title, John, at West Point?
He's their arborist.
He's like, and he told us what kind of tree, because I didn't really know. I like them, I like that they flower. But as far as the height, the first power lines are 40 feet, so the height is okay. They're gonna have to be trimmed as far as parking spaces, etc. I think the height might be okay. So that's not much, telling you.
The root system is the problem,
Okay, so.
the root system.
The evergreens, the evergreens,
Yeah.
is that a short evergreen? Do you have any information on the evergreens that you're talking about?
I could bring you some information, but any type of upright boxwood or a holly or the evergoldies, they're all evergreens.
All right, so the height and the width, et cetera, it's something to take into consideration for sure.
And this we do know about, I appreciate that you know about it too, but this, we've been, about the fungus on the trees now,
Yeah, they basically all have them.
Yeah.
And he sprays them, but
yeah.
it keeps coming back.
So get me the information, please, on the evergreens.
Yep.
But we have to take into consideration, especially, like this, especially if they're near the corners, you know what I mean? So we gotta take a look at that as well. There are plenty of other villages that do have the trees, and they actually use tree grates, and they have to buy a series of tree grates because the tree grows. But, that's just part of the business, when you put a tree in a location like that. It's gonna grow so big, and then unfortunately, we have to take it down. I know in Middletown, they have a park out there that I have to do some design on out there. And, that's probably 20 years ago, and now they have to put in smaller trees. But, that's just part of it. I mean, I hate to cut down trees. I want to save as many trees as I can. But, sometimes you have to.
Well, if the fungus is not addressed, then you will have to cut them down.
I don't think
Which
we'll
is
have to cut them, they'll probably
sad.
fall down. Just that.
Either way.
Thank you.
All right.
Ms. Olivia,
Yes.
just one comment, okay? I don't want to get lost in what you were trying to say. Your main point is not that they're sick, right? Your main point is that you're looking at us to have long-term repercussions to our decisions. We make decisions not just for the short term, we have to make decisions for the long term, for generations in your family. If you want to stay here, we have to make decisions today that affect the future. And I understand what you're saying. I think I get your point.
Sir?
So Gary Lutz, Village resident, so I'm a member of the Town of Highlands Disaster Fund Committee. For those who don't know what that is, it was a committee that stood up after the 9 July storms. We've received donations from a number of organizations. We still have over $1,500 in that account. So if there's anybody that needs to submit an application to get up to $400 of relief, whether it be for that particular flood or emergent life event, you can either get an application at the Town of Highlands Admin Center or at the village. And then the 3-person committee, which I'm a member of, will meet and will decide and hopefully award some more money. But there is still $1,500 left in that account. Okay?
Thank you. Jim?
I
Just a matter of adjournment.
I have a question. I'm a member of the Cabo Lake Homeowners Association. Been coming to meetings for, 10 months now. one of our biggest concerns is that the US Academy Motel is going to be changed to commercial. I'm curious, my first question is, who was responsible for updating the final draft of the?
Well, I don't know if I've answered that, but it's not being changed. You just said it's being changed to what?
On page 107 of the most up-to-date final draft of the comprehensive plan, it says, the parcels on the west side of Main Street from Glen Road, South Road to Walker Road, the parcel at the corner of Walker Road and Main Street would remain under a commercial district
That's been
designation.
changed. That's been changed.
This is still in the final draft, the most
Okay,
recent
it's been,
draft.
the key word there is probably isn't final, but it's a draft. That area's been redone. The Youngs know that, it's been here at meetings.
But it's still in,
All right, I'll-
Because that's the latest
I'm
draft.
trying to
that's
cross
out.
it out, but I don't know.
but like, we've spoken about this for 10 months now, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
promised that's going to be changed.
Yeah.
It's not.
And
It's
It'll
not.
be another half a year before the zoning is
It will be
changed.
once it's the final
Why
draft.
can't you remove the sentence then?
Because we have not voted on it officially. We talked about it, meeting, we took it out, and then when we hear from the public and we have to vote on it, then it'll be
So it's
updated.
not official?
No, it's a draft.
No. As of right now, that property, US Academy Motel, is gonna stay commercial, or we're gonna switch it back to residential?
Are you asking, is it gonna stay commercial or is it going back to residential? It's going back to residential. I said that
It's
so
going
many
back
times
to
now.
residential. Okay, good, you got
Okay.
it.
But
You got
as of
what to
right
say.
now, this says it's going to be commercial.
They can't change it until they
That is
vote on
Okay,
it.
There's a
so
lot of
I
things
get,
that
I
is
think
correct.
Casey,
You
good,
are
you got
correct.
you got the board
But I asked,
to agree with you to say we're gonna change it
We've said
back to
We've said it,
residential
said it.
instead of
but I've
commercial.
asked because
Okay.
at the last meeting, workshop, you guys said we were going to update the comprehensive plan draft.
Correct.
And we made an update, we made a new draft.
And
It's
it
not-
didn't
And
reflect.
this is not corrected.
No,
I
what we
agree
said, was we would put the final, the one you're referring to says final draft 2024. I think that's what it says, right?
The one that was most recently posted after the workshop.
Says
That was
what I
supposed
just
to be
said.
updated.
I get your concern because you're right. You know, they said it was gonna be redlined and then there was just one page thing of what was changed and it wasn't on there.
It hasn't been
So
redlined.
you have every right to be concerned. You want it to be reflected on the final draft.
If you want to be concerned,
reflected
that I
in the
would,
red
you know, you
line.
live there, I understand that.
And-
But it's gonna be residential. There's folks in the room that know this, that were at our meeting, that actually live in Bellwood.
You just wanna see it in black.
Yeah.
Right, you said there were going to be updates and they were not made.
Okay.
You're
I
right.
don't know what to tell you.
What's the point of the draft then? What's the point of
A
making?
draft is a draft.
But
See-
this is a new draft, what's the point of a new draft?
She's correct.
No, it's not, actually, it's not new. It's newer than the other one that was on there, but it's.
It's
It
new!
is new.
It's not new. Okay, I'm not gonna, go ahead, Bob, you got on this?
So could that be changed? It's a word,
It's a sentence.
it's a couple of words. So
Yes.
Important
that-
sentence.
So we can go in there, remove those words, and then we're,
I think it should be
Was that
removed before
underneath
the
it?
next public hearing
yes.
about the comprehensive plan, just to make you feel comfortable that it is going to happen, instead of us just saying, oh, we're gonna change it, and then every time we change it, it's not there. So it's a concern, right?
It's.
There
That's all
was
Casey
said by
said.
the mayor that inaccuracies in the draft and outdated things in the draft were going to be updated in the new final draft. They
So
were not.
They were not.
That's why I'm questioning it.
And
It's a
that's-
concern.
on
So
page
now
107,
you can change it.
looking at it, is it in the recommendation section? Do you know?
On 107.1,
I'm just asking.
on the recommendations, yes.
Okay, perfect, all right. Now, just so you know, I got a lot of tabs in this that we haven't gone over yet, and I took into consideration, and I think we all have it on this board from the first public hearing that we had on it. So that's why we're gonna have our next workshop and discuss what other changes need to be made. And we will definitely make sure that that changes, okay?
Jim?
I just wanted to say, if any resident knows any senior who owns a home and is having issues deciding whether or not to pay their taxes or buy food or medicine, please contact Village Hall, we'll get a name and number, and we'll get you some services that can maybe assist for you with that.
Please
But if
don't
they-
raise taxes.
But if they are,
Do
Mike,
the
Mike,
hard
Mike,
work.
yeah, no, whatever.
but if they're
Do the hard work and do not raise taxes. Please.
But if they're a senior citizen and they own their home and they're having an issue with finances, please call. Because there's a lot of different services that we can get them hooked up with.
You're overlooking that a lot
May I
of
have a
senior
motion to
citizens
adjourn?
have pride.
Motion to adjourn?
They're
Wait a
prideful.
second.
Second,
All in favor?
yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Oh,